Okay. Trying to be useful because my back is still injured and I can't do anything besides sit, basically. So I'm gonna do another video. Like, these videos kind of make my time go by. So I'm gonna just do this one. Like, yeah, I'm only trading Madapes right now, but part of trading Madapes is finding entries, right? Instead of just like FOMOing in. It's always good to look for entries, and I'm going to talk about how to do that here and what I look for when I look for entries. And like a couple of things that I always look for are like patterns, wedge patterns, so price action patterns, like even like double bottoms and things like that, and then resistance and support levels, and then RSI, which is this indicator down here. So let's just look at a chart here. Random chart. Okay, so a lot of people do support and resistance for finding entries. Probably what I see the most of in crypto, but I honestly have been a little out of the loop. I don't watch too many other people anymore. But yeah, you'll see a lot of support and resistance traders. But it works even better if you can combine that with other edges, like seeing patterns and understanding the RSI. Oh yes, and using the logarithmic chart I prefer because it shows a more accurate movement of the price. And yeah, so I measured out the support resistance lines. Here's another one down here that I didn't see on the other chart. That's the other thing, right? So if you use the algorithmic chart, you sometimes won't see certain supports, or you won't fully see like a pattern that is actually there. So that's why I prefer the logarithmic chart. The algorithmic chart looks pretty cool though, I'm not gonna lie, compared to the log chart in my opinion. Okay, so here's a big wedge. These are what I notice like the most. My brain is just like wired to see patterns, I guess. I've been told by professionals in the past, and it's just kind of what it does automatically. I don't necessarily look, they just kind of appear. But this is a rising wedge. So this is what I would take note of. Something like 86 or 7% of the time, a rising wedge will drop the height of it, okay? And a lot of the time before it drops, it'll ride the lower trend line. Like it'll like ride it like this and then pull its drop kind of thing, usually. Right now this is up towards the upper trend line. It's made an all-time high, it looks like. So there is a good chance it's gonna go for another push up. Yeah, usually after a top, there's always another push up. So this very well could do something like, oops. Ugh. Oh, this light is like about to fucking fall. So from here, we got like a lot of bullish patterns at the top here too. So we got this falling wedge, okay? This is a bullish reversal pattern. So it does the opposite of a rising wedge. It'll break out to the upside the same height. So considering that the breakout target is at the upper trend line, I think that might play out. See that? Yeah. It's probably actually gonna bust through that soon. And then there's a chance it'll fail to hit that all-time high and then come back down along this trend line until it hits this lower trend line. and then it might ride it up and then drop here. But who knows, it might remain bullish and just break to the upside. And like here, we got a double bottom. That's a bullish pattern, which already broke out. You can see it shoots up the height of the bottom part of the structure, which it did. This could also be a cup and handle forming too. If you look at this, if this does that breakout up to here, that would be a cup and handle right here. But it would have to break past this top here in order to be a confirmed cup and handle breakout. And if it breaks past that top here, then we are busting through the structure of the rising wedge, which means it might invalidate the potential drop of this rising wedge. So there's just so many things to look for and to see. And like, it doesn't have to be exact. Like you noticed I drew the cup and handle like this, but there is a pump in the middle of the cup and handle, right? Which I didn't even acknowledge. As long as the structure is there, the general structure, it can be valid for that shape. So this could count as one dip, or it could count as two, right? Depends what shape you're going for. And that said, actually, because I just said that, I just noticed another pattern that could be here. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to get rid of this wedge here. There's a pattern called 3 rising valleys, where if each low is higher than the one before, and it's pretty clean like that, if it breaks past the last high on the last low, the third low, like that, I don't know where the break line would be. It'd probably be about here. If it breaks past that, there's a chance then that's going to actually rocket ship the height of it. So that's also an ascending triangle, you could say, which is the same kind of thing. It has the same breakout target. So the height of this triangle or 3 rising valleys is about that high. And if it breaks through and it does complete that pattern, it's telling me it's going to actually break through the upper trend line here of the larger rising wedge. So I could mark what I see as bullish already. So we got ascending triangle, 3 rising valleys, not yet valid. 3 rising valleys, cup and handle, double bottom. Oh yeah, falling wedge, which I took the markings off. So that is just like a bunch of bullish confirmation right here. Okay, all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns I see right here in this zone that's flirting with this upper trend line. It's flirting with the all-time high also. Right, and then if we look at this also, we can also see that this could also be a rising wedge, which is actually bearish. So you just got to look for the bearish patterns too and compare, like, what is there more of, right? If there's more bullish confirmations, then you could probably bet on this thing breaking upwards. That's the thing. If you see so many charts, eventually, like, you almost see too many patterns, and then it can work against you if you can't figure out how to sort through it, right? And if this rising wedge actually played out like a rising wedge should, or does, usually, it would drop like this, look, right down to the lower trend line. So that would also validate this structure, the bigger structure. And it would keep that in play, like a regular rising wedge, which has a potential breakdown. So if this smaller rising wedge breaks down and hits this lower trend line, then it's gonna invalidate all of these bullish patterns that I found, right? They're gonna become invalidated. That's not to say like other ones like it will form in the same area, but you just kind of gotta weigh the two sides and see which one has more confirmation. Like even right here, I see a bullish divergence. Right there. Right there. I don't see a bearish divergence. Here, I guess I kind of do. Here's a top that's higher than over here on the RSI. It's the opposite up here. So that technically is bearish divergence, but they're pretty far apart for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go to 15 minutes, see what it's doing. Also, you notice the RSI, it's like in the bullish range too. So that's something that you want to look at and take note about. So that's more bullish confirmation. But then again, you see this top here and this top here, it's the opposite. So that's a bearish divergence, right? So it's like there's so many things that are pointing in all different directions. And like sorting that shit out is like what you got to do to figure out where it's going to go. Okay, I'm going to remove all this stuff and look at it with fresh eyes. Like we could even have a technically we could have a cup and handle breakout already here that I'm seeing, and like earlier on in the structure here. So this is why it's good to like zoom out of what you already worked on and like look at it again as if it's a fresh chart. Okay, so that, let's see, I'm gonna put that back. Get rid of these drop zones. Oops. And I'm gonna draw here. Okay, see that? That's a cup and handle right here too. And it technically broke the neckline, I'd say, which is right about here. So that's interesting. And the RSI is in the bullish zone. I see a couple of bullish divergences. Yeah, I see bearish one too, so you've got to keep that in mind. But this did break through the neckline of the cup and handle. So if that is going to actually do a full breakout, we're going up to 4 mil right now. And we're at we're at 1.2 mil. Okay, so that's a 4x, just like that. Let's see what this would do up here. This would create this upper trend line if it did break out there, which would then create a larger wedge. Sometimes there's a perfect channel too. Like a super bullish chart will go up in the shape of just a perfect channel instead of a wedge. So that also could validate that this smaller wedge is going to drop too, because like, let's see again, height of this wedge, if it dropped, let's see, it could possibly do something like this, right? Like it could possibly do the full-on breakout, full-on cup and handle breakout to here, and then it'd come back down, retest this, and then possibly fail, and then come back into here, and then be back in this structure here, and then boom, and then do the drop. So there's just so much going on always in these charts. So that's also something that could happen. I think that might actually happen after looking at it now for this long. Yeah. So I'm thinking that's what's gonna happen. We'll have a breakout. I mean, I could be totally wrong, right? Every 5 minutes could change the structure of the whole chart. But I'm thinking that's what might happen here. Just because this lines up with an upper channel and this lines up with a lower channel. And like super good traders are gonna see these potential trend lines. And they're gonna set triggers where they need to. Anyway, that's how I look at charts. I mean, I didn't even really say what an entry would be here, eh? But if you wanted to really find some good entries. Oh, my computer's about to die. Okay, let's say you wanted to find some entries here. I am gonna show you what I would do. Can we use this just to... Whoops, nope. Nope. There's a chance that this, what I just talked about, doesn't happen too, and this rising wedge in the middle drops sooner, which is statistically more likely to happen. But with all these bullish confirmations, I'm thinking it's probably going to do something like that and then maybe drop down to this. But you know, you never know, it could break right through the top channel. So, and if that happens, then we're probably going to stay above that trend line if it were to break through for some time at least. So all the blue here are I'd say are pretty fair entries. So you could set limit order down at 185k, 270k. Here, let's actually go over why, okay? So why would we set it 184k? Because that is one of the lowest supports. Okay, so if all structure fails, if all bullish structure fails, support is always there. And a lot of the time support will fail too, right? But at least support is there. And a lot of the time it will hit support and stay on support before it drops farther. So here's support you could put one at. And then here's another level I would consider, because this would be the breakdown target of the wedge if the wedge were to break down soon, right? And then another entry, you could set a limit order at 370k market cap. Why? Because again, that's a support level. And then yeah, you could set one even around here, around the 700k market cap, and then another one at around 860k. So if you really wanted to set like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at like 0.05 SOL each, so you're putting down like $30 total. And if you scoop up these bottoms here, like you're gonna be pretty safe. And this chart's been around for a few days too, so I don't have the fear of it just tanking. It's been holding pretty good. Yeah, that's what I see in this chart, and those are all the scenarios. And if you didn't want to get all technical about it, just freaking set some limit orders from 0K market cap up to like 500. If only that's what I started doing when I got into crypto, I wouldn't need to know any of this. Alright. Hopefully that wasn't like too much. Probably is for a lot of people, but